What's up, guys? Razio here, and it's been a while since I've done a video like this, a video about actual gaming. In this video, I'm going to talk about World of Warcraft's coming expansion, Dragonflight, what I think about it, and that I'm fairly confident it's not going to be another Shadowlands. So let's just get into it.
I am Razio.
So to start off, I have to apologize. There's probably going to be some noise in the background. I'll try to filter it out as best I can. A bunch of kids outside screaming and playing around. But anyway, on to the point. So the first thing I'm going to talk about with Dragonflight is the changes are massive from what we've seen from World of Warcraft for a long time. World of Warcraft's expansions have typically followed a pattern, not just in their design and development and in their release, but in the whole idea behind every expansion. Every expansion has these new temporary borrowed power systems. Again, I did a borrowed power video years ago addressing this. In addition, we've had all kinds of, things that used to be rare, no longer being rare, like legendaries and a bunch of other useless shit that's been thrown at the game for a long time. And Blizzard trying to technically reinvent the wheel every single fucking expansion. But we're not seeing that with this. And before I go into the details about why I think this is and why I think, despite what people say, it's definitely on track to be released before the end of this year, which a lot of people are worried that's too soon, that it won't be developed enough, and I'll provide the evidence that that's not the case. But a lot of people might ask, is this because of Microsoft's acquisition? And I would say 90% no. It's mostly because World of Warcraft has been in a terrible state for a while. But a small part, yes. The reason why is because Blizzard has recently acquired, and I'll throw it up here as you can see, another team of developers to come in and to help with World of Warcraft development. Proletariat is the company, and it was founded in 2012, and there's some big names on here: Insomniac, Harmonix, and Turbine. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Turbine is the company that made my favorite MMO of all time and the one that got me into MMOs in 1999, Asheron's Call. And a lot of the people they're pulling over with this acquisition are former lead designers of Asheron's Call, Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online. And it's a pretty big deal, as you can see that there. So this can only be good for the game. So maybe Microsoft had a hand in this acquisition in making this a business decision. We don't have all the details on that, but this can't go poorly. I mean, let's be real, in a lot of ways, WoW couldn't get any worse from where it has been for the last few expansions. So talking about what is going to make it different so we don't get another Shadowlands, another Battle for Azeroth, another Legion. And to be fair, Legion was a fairly good expansion, but it was the beginnings of a lot of the core problems that now exist in WoW and were expanded on into be bigger problems in Battle for Azeroth and Shadowlands. So first and foremost, people that are saying this is going to be tough to be out on time, and no, Dragonflight's been in development for a long time, but the biggest difference is they're removing all the stupid shit that they've been adding, all the junk and excess garbage that they've been adding to the expansions for a long time that people have been warning them are bad ideas. So, for example, things that are being removed that are not in Shadowlands, that are in Shadowlands and won't be in Dragonflight are, certain balancing issues. Blizzard shot themselves in the foot with all the balancing they had to do, which now they don't have to do with this new expansion. If you're unaware, they are going back to the talent trees, the talent calculators, but just way more advanced. So you have your baseline abilities, but then you have talents both for your spec and your class that you make, which makes for some very new, interesting combos for classes. And obviously, it's going to be quite a task to balance all this out, but not nearly as much balancing and tiptoeing around as they had to do in the past. Why? Because, for example, they don't have to balance covenants, conduits that were in the covenants. Every single class, spec, covenant possible combination, which there are tons, are out of the game. They don't need to balance that anymore. That system. There's no big systems being put into Dragonflight outside of dragon riding, and then they're rehauling professions and they're rehauling the talent system. But they don't have to balance conduits. They don't have to balance covenant abilities. They don't have to balance legendaries now. Legendaries are not going to be in the game anymore, outside of the exception they did mention that they may have some, like how they used to be, you know, maybe a legendary it's a raid drop or a crafted one for one class or two classes in the entire expansion. There are no longer battle tables, you know, the tables where you send out followers and shit. That's not in the game anymore. Shit like Azurite armor from BFA, again, legendaries, island expeditions, all these systems that ended up being terrible are gone. There's no artifact weapon like they did in Legion, you know, and all these extra systems and war tables they added with every patch. We're not seeing that, and they said they're not going that direction anymore. All they really need to do is balance the baseline and spec talent trees and keep gear interesting the way it was in, you know, vanilla WoW, Burning Crusade, all the way up to Cataclysm, before they revamped the talent systems to the shitty state they're in now in Mists of Pandaria. It's going back. Also, there are talent trees for the professions. You can actually specialize in things again, like you could in vanilla, you know, specialize in making very specific items and armor types and weapon types. And if you just want to sit there and craft, it looks like you're going to be able to do that. They're adding in a new class. It has 2 talent trees, a healing and a DPS spec, the Drakthir. But it's already pretty much done in the alpha, and we're seeing them take a very, very different approach to alpha. I myself don't have access, but I've been following it closely. I'll probably get beta if there's a beta, because I've pretty much been invited to every World of Warcraft beta since Wrath, I think. But yeah, they're very far along. They're testing very specific things each week. They're making changes. They're actually addressing feedback this time, along with that new team they got to help them with feedback. So again, does this mean that I trust Blizzard now that they're going back to the basics? No, absolutely not. Again, at the end of the day, it's a huge corporation, a soulless corporation that wants our money. But I think overall that what I've seen so far, I like. It's a nice change. The fact they're doing faded raids and testing it now in Shadowlands Season 4, where you do old raids with new affixes and it makes the gear in the old raids relevant again, is fantastic. There's a lot of potential there. Shuffling in and out every season, different Mythic Plus dungeons from old expansions. That's a good way to make content that's old and no one goes to anymore outside of Transmog useful again. So there's a lot of things, but again, I'm being very cautious. I'm being very careful. I'm, you know, keeping my ear to the grindstone and keeping my eye on it and seeing what happens in terms of what Blizzard is doing. So can Blizzard keep this up? I mean, they've got Diablo 4 around the corner, which I'm very, very hesitant about. I'm hesitant about anything Blizzard releases at this point, but it can only help that they've gotten a whole new team of people in from successful projects in the past. Now, Dungeons & Dragons Online wasn't that successful. Lord of the Rings Online was. It's still up and around today. Same with Assurance Call's not around anymore, but it lasted a good 17 years before they shut the servers down. But Assurance Call, they made very good development design decisions for that game. It's a sandbox MMO from the late 90s, early 2000s. So even World of Warcraft Vanilla took some inspiration from it, just like it did from EverQuest. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things shape up over Dragonflight's life. I'm definitely going to play it and give it a shot. If you don't want to play it, you don't trust Blizzard at all, don't want to give them a dime of your money, I totally understand, totally get it. Don't judge you at all. But hey, man, the main reason I play MMO is to play with my friends, and they're all going to play. So that's how we hang out now. But anyway, guys, I'm really interested in your thoughts and your opinions about Dragonflight and about the acquisition that Activision Blizzard did of this other company of developers, and what the acquisition of Microsoft. I made a video saying Microsoft won't save WoW, and I still believe that. But because I don't even know how involved Microsoft is in any of these decisions or changes. Probably not much, since it's been in design for over 2 years. So thoughts, comments down below. Again, guys, I stream on YouTube and Twitch. Most of the stuff I stream on YouTube is more like mental health related, because that's also something I'm looking into. Mental health for men a lot of the time too, because we don't get a whole lot of it as dudes. But I am streaming the gaming stuff on Twitch. So links on the up there now. Love to shoot me a follow. Come hang out with us. Shoot the shit. It's very not a PC and family friendly stream, but come hang out with us, guys. Thanks so much. Sorry for it's been so long since I put something up for gaming, but it's back. So as always, my friends, keep it real.